This is a Grande Pacific production. This is part 2 of the Mule and Western model railroad.
All I clean track, but I keep it pretty dust free down here. I've got dust collection in the shop. It's a finished basement with finished ceiling in it. I don't get a lot of dust. Now, the one thing I wish now this ceiling was in here for the most part before I started. The one thing I wish I had done before when I put the ceiling in is instead of using these Celotex ceiling tile in here, use plastic ceiling tile.
Use what?
Plastic.
I have hearing aids and sometimes I don't catch it.
And the reason that is when you walk around upstairs on this floor, it snows.
Yes.
Down here.
Yeah.
Not a lot, but if you touch one of them, it snows a lot. And it's always a process of cleaning to go around and vacuum up the little white dots.
So you mounted the one support piece on one side, and that was done why?
There's two reasons really. One is to allow the track to float with humidity changes. See, the substrate under the track is floating in there. So as humidity changes its dimensions, it can move around a little bit. The other reason that it is one-sided on the outside only is for cleaning purposes. You can stand in the middle with a cleaning rag and a little bit of rubbing alcohol or denatured alcohol on it and clean the track continuously very easily. You don't have to move in and out of the supports.
Cut the sheets for me.
Yes.
Thank God. Because when I saw the residue in there, and he saw the residue in there,
Yes.
but he had the machinery to clean it all
I got
up.
that vacuum in there, and three of us did it, but it filled that vacuum in 15 minutes. It was, we changed that thing and dumped it
Oh,
7 or 8
the filter
times
was
during
gone
the day.
too.
And we had to wear
Comfort
face masks,
features.
air circulators and everything.
Oh, yes.
We're going to have an operating layout, which this is. And you're going to have people over and things.
It was just about perfect.
You need comfort creature features. Chairs, places to sit, places to do your paperwork, handle your manifests and so forth. So we have a drainage tunnel here, and the great Godzilla March creature is hiding back in there, so you don't want to go crawl back in this tunnel and get eaten up. Little features of modeling railroading.
Rocks are all cast rubber molds, and they're cast wet up here in place, and where you get it to almost cure, and then you slap it up there and hold it in place until it cures a few minutes, and then you can leave it for a couple hours and you come back and peel it off.
I got some big ones.
And then the area between, what I do is I take the same molds and let them dry completely flat on the table, and then I break them up. And I fill in the little pieces with some caulk to hold them in place. And then I come back and I take a cake decorating bag full of drywall compound with a small tip, and I fill all the cracks with cake decorating compound. And then I take a stiff brush, dip it in a little water, and I brush it, and it stipples the drywall compound out and fills all the cracks.
Hadn't thought of that.
Cake bag.
Decorating bag.
Cake decorating bag with
I like
just about
that.
a 1/8 inch tip in it. You put sheetrock compound in it, and slow setting sheetrock compound, and you can fill in all those cracks, and as you go, do 6 inches, 8 inches of crack, and then come back, and the plaster's hydroscopic. It's going to start sucking the moisture out of that drywall compound right away. So you want to wet a cheap brush, paint brush that's 1 inch wide. It's got the bristles cut about halfway back, so it's real stiff. dip it in water, brush it on there where you've put that drywall compound, and it'll fill in all the cracks and crevices, and you can stipple and work your way up, and you do 8 inches at a time. And that's what that shell is made of on this side. Now where I'm going to do trees, I want foam underneath that shell.
Yes.
So I stack foam, shape it as I stack it, and then cover it with another layer of plaster cloth, just like I did on this side. Paint it, and then landscape it. But then as I poke through the shell, I've got a base for these trees to poke into.
You put anything on the base of your tree to hold it in?
No, they're just in a hole that I punch in there with an awl.
Okay.
Put a little.
I'd gotten a double shot before.
What a beautiful railroad.
You do that.
So the structures on a railroad, you want to be able to get to things and be able to work on them. So you build a place to put your bridge back in and take it out. Yeah.
Just kind of work it in there, and it'll come in and out as needed in order to do maintenance or cleaning or whatever you need to do underneath that. And then the pieces just go back in as needed.
I guess the biggest point here is everybody needs to realize it doesn't take much to support your little ounces of engines and
No.
cars. So it is really visual effect. You want to have the good looking bridge and everything. It looks like it's going to support a ton.
Yeah, these are just setting here.
Yeah.
In fact, there's no real weight on that. The main deck is what's supporting the weight of the train. This is just for scenery,
There you go.
setting around it.
That magic of model railroading.
Mine you could usually pull a 18-wheeler on prototype type.
Yeah, you can do away with the 2x4 supports underneath, people. The wonders of sound. Get all 3 of the senses involved here.
And what I use is 2 different tools to do this. I use a tool that I cut out a square that is about a 1/2 inch smaller than this wood plate. I cut it all the way through the foam. And then I have a board that I pre-make these in the workshop. And I set this on here, trace around it, take an X-Acto knife, and I cut into the foam about 1/4 of an inch. And then I have another number 11 X-Acto knife mounted horizontally on a little short stick.
Put a lid on there. Yeah.
And I can cut a lip or a dado in that edge around there. And that lets this set on it, flush. They're pre-drilled and they're pre-slotted for the throw wire. So I go ahead and I put the tortoise machine on the board first, out here, where I can get at it. I center the throw wire to the middle and drop this in place, and I'm ready to lay road bed across it. When I lay the road bed on, I can take my Dremel tool with a little router bit in it, and I've already got a slot in the wood. I just go down and hit the slot, and then I move it back and forth. That clears out the area for the throw wire in the bed. The wire sticks up. I leave it full length that they ship with the tortoises. And while I'm laying road bed, I take a wire nut, an electrical wire nut, and put over that wire so that I don't lay my arm on it and poke a hole in my arm. But then laying track, the first thing I lay is my turnouts. I just center the turnout, drop it over that wire, move it back and forth until the points are centered between the 2 rails, glue it down, weight it, let it cure. And then I build track up to the turnouts at that point.
Good process.
So it's all done from the top. And then as far as electrical on the tortoise, I use those blue connectors, the edge connectors, and I can pre-wire them out here where I can get at them and just plug them on.
Now,
Okay.
Where I've got the edges coming out to the curve, I cut those cross members off. Is designed to bend. It won't bend this way, but it will bend this way. And it's called bending plywood. And I put the first piece on, and I pin nail it to the ends of the joists, the 1/2-inch plywood joists. Glue it and pin it. And then I take a second layer and I bond it with glue over the whole surface to the outside of the first one. And I use binder clips from the office supply store, 1/2-inch binder clips, every couple inches on the top and the bottom, and you're left with a piece of 1/2-inch thick plywood that is very, very strong. It's just as strong as the other 1/2-inch plywood, and that will bend to any radius down to 6 inches.
Now, where do you get that?
Cabinet shop. I got a lumber yard over here in Swanee. But I figured my little backwoods railroad needed something that
They did a lot of
combined,
hand building. Sure they did.
they needed something that combined a caboose function and a railway express function. And
okay, people, so here we have a mechanical switch, and we'll give you the whole side of this thing, and it's mounted up, and we'll turn this over and you'll see that this is really made for demonstration purposes. Morris has done this, so we have a little button right here on the button. Now I'm going to push the button, but I want to be on the switch when I push it. So I got my finger here, and I push the button in. Oh, look at that! Flips right over. Now this is totally mechanical, nothing electrical here. Spring loaded. Okay. So here we go. How do we do this? Okay, so you're our cross section of the railroad. Okay. Morris's method for resetting the button. He drills a hole, and that's how he mounts the little switch up. And you take this right here, and you see me push the switch. Now it's locked into place one way, then it releases. He said that the spring in the switch was not quite enough, so he gave it a little assist over here. So you can see basically here you have the same leverage or approach that a tortoise would have. Okay? Handy dandy tip. That's all you need to throw the switch.
I've overshaded some.
How to build your railroad. Switch was purchased as surplus electronics out of MPJ out of Florida. So if this is your thing, you want to give it an application, now you know where to get switch. Just another little point here. Morris cut his own homicide road bed. This is all homemade.
Well, it's so narrow, and I thought about just painting the back road.
The outside bevel is at 30 degrees. He makes some of it a 1/4 inch, some of it thicker, 3/8.
I'm gonna probably
Depends on where it's being used on his layout.
last year.
And that's a
People come to look at it.
3/4 inch
What do they do?
pink, or you could use blue, closed cell styrofoam.
They're overlooking in the top, and they're looking underneath.
Masonite.
See the trains running down the hill. I look at this.
And 1/2 inch, or probably 15, 32nd.
Leave it open.
That's going to be some type of furniture grade
When I
plywood.
have a bunch of guys over, you'll inevitably get one guy that sits here and all he does is sit here and watch trains. Must have a low hanging brake hose. All right, time to get the other hand out of the controller and slow down the steam function, I guess. Out to
Okay, so if you're going to build a railroad,
gives me 20 just to bring us low.
and you happen to be into the carpentry thing, you need a room that has all the tools. I know some of you probably will kill for this, but I'll give you the tour here.
Done. This wall was taken
So,
out, and I finished all that work.
we have all the vacuum systems in here you could think about.
Did the lighting down here, redid the wiring.
The proverbial bandsaw that I would kill for on a few occasions. I think some of these tools don't quite go with the model railroad, but yeah, I'm sure there are other things they get used for. Nice orbital round sander there. Believe me, that can come in handy. That's a vacuum system. And there's your flat sander. Again, not quite the size for model railroading work, but again, they can be a lot of adaptation. And of course, for the miter cut people, how do you keep your cut straight? You have a table that's straight with the saw, and you don't have problems. And for all those tree jobs, got something to hang them from. So, nothing like having the right tool to get the job done. This is a great example. Great workroom, and this is a home built. I've seen the plans on this. This is a home built router table. So you want to do some router work, this is what you need. Drill press, mill the boards down, and a big table saw. Put a whole 4x sheet and have something to support it.